Holy shit. Hi, hello, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Shout out to the All Access Patreon members who are seeing this first. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. And if you haven't already connected with me over on Patreon, it's completely free to join and you still get some benefits. Recently, I released parts of a full album reaction early on Patreon. They got it on Thursdays. YouTube got it on Sundays. If there's ever a video blocked on YouTube, it will be accessible for free on Patreon. And of course, it's ad-free. However, if you are interested in supporting my channel further, there is now an all access Patreon membership tier that you can purchase. And you get early access to all my content, extended versions, non-blurred music videos, things like that. All the information will be in the description below. I'm working my way through Kendrick Lamar's discography. We've done Section 80, we've done Good Kid, Mad City, we've done deluxe versions, we've done music videos, we've done all sorts of things. And now we're gonna jump into To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm really excited. If you're on YouTube and this is gonna be released in parts, any information like that will be in the description below. This seems to be one that people in my comments have always said that they think I will enjoy a lot. This and probably the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I think I see probably the most, so I'm really excited. I loved Good Kid, Mad City, and I also loved Section 80. His foundation stayed so true while still being so different, and I'm just excited to experience another one of his albums. One of my Patreon members, he was like, no spoilers, but pay close attention to this song and like the words. I'm assuming that means there's probably some hidden layers, so I'm focused in these walls. Also, still haven't got my back to work on. It's on my list to do next week.
I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence.
The snap. I feel like we're at a poetry slam. I love that. Starting over.
I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same.
Ooh. I was wondering if it was going to be If These Walls Could Talk, because it says these walls, so I figured it would be If These Walls Could Talk. Sex. She just wanna close her eyes and sweat. Wow, just the way that was done. Okay, sorry.
Swim good, no boat, I float better than he would. No light jacket, I'm not the God of Nazareth, but your flood can be misunderstood. War telling me they full of...
So what? I was not expecting those kind of walls. I'm assuming this is gonna be a double entendre, because I don't think one of my Patreon members would have been like, pay attention to the lyrics if it was just that. So I'm assuming there's going to be multiple meanings or double meaning at least. But I can say for sure that when I first started this, I was not thinking we were talking about those kind of walls, even if that is just one of the layers. Okay. No life jacket. I'd be the God of Nazareth. Okay.
But your flood can be misunderstood. War telling me they full of pain, resentment. Need someone to live in them just to relieve tension. Me, I'm just a tenant. Landlord said the wall vacant more than a minute. The wall are vulnerable. Exclamation. Interior pink, color coordinated. I interrogated every nook and cranny. I mean, it's still amazing. Before they couldn't stand me. These walls wanna cry tears. These walls happier when I'm here. These walls never can hold up. Every time I come around, demolition might.
that crush was so satisfying. Okay, I need to go back though. On that layer, pain and resentment. Need someone to live in them just to relieve tension. I'm just a tenant, so I'm only here temporarily. Landlord said these walls vacant for more than a minute. Okay, why? Did something happen? But then landlord said, are we talking about like sex work? Because landlord, well, I guess, because I don't know if we're talking landlord, like, so she's saying, oh, so she's just saying like it's been a while. Okay. I'm here, I'm with it. Birthday, okay. I'm with you. It took me a second. I need to hear crush again.
Never go hold up. Every time I come around, demolition mic. I can feel your rain when it cries. Gold lives inside of you. I love it when I'm in. I love it when I'm in. The wall can talk, they tell me to go deep. Yelling at me continuously, I can see your defense mechanism is my decision. Knock these walls down, that's my religion.
I feel like we've switched a little bit. Now we might be talking about something different. I mean, I know we're still, but I feel like we're learning more about another layer, I guess is the best way to say it. Yelling at me continuously, I can see. Your defense mechanism is my decision. Knock down these walls, that's my religion. Walls feeling like they're ready to close in. That kind of reminds me of like institution a little bit, of like your past haunting you. But then you could also look at that as, I guess we've also been talking a lot about his career in the industry, so telling you to keep going.
Wall feeling like they ready to close in. I suffocate, then catch my second wind. I resonate in these walls. I don't know how long I could wait in these walls. I've been on the streets too long. Looking at you from the outside in, they sing the same old song.
That makes me lean more towards the like system. I'm looking from the outside looking in. Again, I think this is definitely like multi-layered, because I can see that too from the sense of, you think about like a Black Boy Fly. He was, looking at these two guys who had, gotten out of Compton. You can see it in that way. You can see it as like, then you can look at it bigger scale of like, he's a black man on the outside looking in. Like, I've been in the streets too long. And the way the system is set up with like oppression, I can see it from that as well.
About how they was always the cleanest. I beg to differ. I must have missed them. I'm not involved. I'd rather diss them. I'd rather call on you, put your wall up. Cause when I come around, demolition go. I can feel your rain when it cries. Gold lives inside of you. I love it when I'm in. I love it when I'm in.
I like that.
If your walls can talk, they tell you it's too late. Your destiny accepted, your fate. Burn accessories and stash them on the yard. Take the recipe, the Bible and God.
I love the callback to the recipe.
You, that commissary is low. Race wars happening.
I'm so sorry. You brought up commissionary. That makes me think of collect calls.
Stash them on the yard. Take the recipe, the Bible and God. Want.
Oh my god, so the wall's like prison? Oh my god, there's so many layers. I say that a lot, but like truly there are so many layers with this one. The wall telling you that commissionary low. So now we're talking about like prison. Is that maybe like how especially black men are targeted and make up so much of our like prison system? Don't even get me started on for-profit prison systems. I volunteered for a while at a state school, which is essentially prison for under 18. The first time I ever went, we went to like different dorms, essentially. The dorms are separated kind of by crime that you're punished for. The best one. And by best, I mean like so respectful, so kind, like really good kids. And ended up being the ones that we like, my group chose to like, we did like Christmas with them and stuff like that. They were the most willing to talk. The first time they didn't like go into deep into like what, their past or anything like that, but just like willing to actually like conversate with us. Afterwards, the person who took us, like the main volunteer person was like, what was your experience, blah, blah, like who do you all feel like you connected with, blah, blah. And my group was like, oh, this deal. And she was like, that's capital murder. And we were all like shocked. And I sat with that for a long time. And it was really like my first experience being behind the curtain. Like, I already had feelings and opinions about the prison system in general. And I obviously was very aware of that the system disproportionately affects people of color, but especially Black men. So I already had my opinions on that, but being there like really solidified it. And the second time I went is when we really started talking and stuff, and the stories, like, oh my God. So many things of just, like, it was so hard not to look at these kids and be like, if you were white, you wouldn't be here. If you were white, you would have been praised for protecting someone. But it wasn't protection because of your skin color. Like, things like that. It just... So I don't know if that's what this is talking about, or... I know I went on one of my little tangents per usual, but...
Take the recipe, the Bible and God. War telling you that commissary is low. Race wars happening, no calling CO. No calling your mother to save you. Homies to say you're reputable, not acceptable. Your behavior sent me to board like a killer that turned snitch. Wars is telling me you're a bitch. You pray for pills, hoping the warden would afford.
Telling me that you're... Okay, so this is not someone who's put there... It sounds wrongfully, because he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't be like, okay.
A killer that turned snitch. Wars is telling me you're a bitch. You pray for pills, hoping the warden would afford them.
That sentence so important.
Wars telling you to listen and sing about me. Retaliation is strong, you even dream about me. Kill my homeboy and God spared your life. Dumb criminal got indicted same night. So when you play the song, rewind the first verse. About me abusing my power so you could hurt. About me and her in the shower whenever she horny. About me and her in the after hours of the morning. About her baby daddy currently serving life. And how she think about you until we meet up at night. About the only girl cared about you when you asked her. And how she fucking on a famous rapper.
Walls can talk.
Oh my... Okay. I need to re-listen to that verse now.
If your walls can talk, they tell you it's too late. Your destiny accepted, your fate. Put accessories and stash them on the yard. Take the recipe, the Bible and God. War telling you that commissary is low. Race wars happening, no calling CO. No calling your mother to save you. Homies to say you're reputable, not acceptable. Your behavior sent me to board like a killer that turned snitch. Wars is telling me you're a bitch. You pray for pills, hoping the warden would afford them.
That sentence so important.
Wars telling you to listen and sing about me. Retaliation is strong, you even dream about me. Kill my homeboy and God spared your life. Dumb criminal got indicted same night. So when you play the song, rewind the first verse. About me abusing my power so you could hurt. About me and her in the shower whenever she horny. About me and her in the after hours of the morning. About her baby daddy currently serving life. And how she think about you until we meet up at night. About the only girl cared about you when you asked her. And how she fucking on a famous rapper.
Walls can talk.
Oh my...
I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same, abusing my power full of resentment that turned into a deep depression. Found myself screaming in the hotel room.
Oh my... Oh my God. Oof. I think there's something so powerful and just so raw and authentic about people talking about the things that they do that are a morally gray area, right? And I say gray because some people, I'm sure some people would be praising, right? And then there's some people who would be like, oh my God, I can't believe. I just have a lot of respect for artists who are willing to put their flaws out there and like the things that they've done that would not necessarily paint them in a good light. Obviously, this is very deep. Again, I'm not trying to compare apples and oranges, but it's something that I appreciate about Taylor Swift. It's the reason why I got really frustrated when a lot of SWIFTIEs jumped off her bandwagon when the whole Kanye released the tape thing, Kim released the tape thing, and blah, blah. I felt from the beginning that it was probably edited. And the reason I felt that way is because a lot of the media and a lot of people who aren't her fans always want to talk about how she likes to play the victim. I always thought that was interesting about that is because when you really listen to her music, she owns up to a lot. I mean, she doesn't always paint herself in the best light. I mean, she has songs that are about being unfaithful. And it's the reason why, again, I got really frustrated with a lot of Swifties who jumped off the bandwagon was like, oh, she's not, you know, who we thought she was. And I'm like, I just don't see the person who willingly will publicize her own faults and like sing about them, knowing that she's already under scrutiny, would publicly go out if she knew there was like validity to those claims. Even if she didn't know she was being recorded, like, I just can't imagine you publicly going out knowing that someone could discredit you. And that's what always felt weird to me about that whole situation. So anyways, all of that to say is that I just really appreciate when artists are raw and authentic like that and are willing to paint themselves in not the best light in their art. Wow, that was... Also, is that a poem? Because it sounds like he's saying a poem. You were conflicted misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same. And then he's like, goes into this, abusing my power, full of resentment that turned into a deep depression, found myself screaming in a hotel room. So I'm assuming maybe this is like the breaking point for what he talked about in the opening track of him like struggling with his past, struggling with all these things and becoming like suicidal. Oh, the next one's You. That's one of the other ones that I've been told like prepare yourself. I'm pretty sure it's You. Oh gosh. Okay. Next up we have You. So he's screaming. Okay.
Loving you is complicated. 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 Loving you is complicated.
The way he's delivering it is complicated. He goes from the screaming to that really deep, like angry, a lot of emotions in play there that's kind of all over the place. Interesting.
I place blame when you steal, place shame when you steal. Feel like you ain't shit, feel like you don't feel confidence in yourself. Breaking no marble floors, watching anonymous strangers telling me that I'm yours. But you ain't shit, I'm confess your tolerance, nothing special. What can I blame you for?
So he's talking to himself? It's like talking to yourself in the mirror, like you. Oh, I place blame when you steal. Or like your side's fighting it. Oh, and that's a play on the whole Gemini thing. Oh.
Can name several situations. I start with your little sister baking. A baby aside, just a teenager. Where your patience? What was your antennas? What?
I need to go back. Watching anonymous strangers telling me that I'm yours. Hold on, this IU thing's gonna get confusing. Watching anonymous strangers telling me that I'm you. Okay. Talent's nothing special. That breaks my heart. What can I blame him for? I can name several. Situation had stopped with your little sister baking, a baby inside, just a teenager. We are talking about, he is talking to himself, right? What made me think that? No, because the last one, I'm screaming in my deal, loving you is complicated. Well, I guess he could be talking about someone else. No, because he said the suicide thing in that first one. No, I think I'm right. No, I'm trusting myself on this one. Y'all tell me that all the time to like trust that. I'm trusting myself on that. I think he's talking to himself. Watch the one time I do this and I'm wrong. No. I'm open to me being wrong, so I'm gonna look for places where I could be wrong. But if we do go with my initial thought, you can't blame yourself for that. But blame and shame and all of that, like there's no logic there. I get it.
A baby aside, just a teenager. Where your patience? What was your antennas? What was the influence you speak of? You preached in front of 100,000 but never reached up. I fucking tell you, fucking failure. You ain't no leader. I never liked you, forever despised you. I don't need you. The world don't need you. Don't let them deceive you. Numbers lie too. Fuck your pride too. That's what dedication. Thought money would change you. Made you more complacent. Fucking hate you. I hope you embrace it. I swear loving you is complicated. 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 Loving you, not loving you. 100 proof.
I can feel your vibe and recognize that you're ashamed of me. Yes, I hate you too.
What did he say in that first song? He brought up a hotel. Wait, so is this the moment he's like debating? And housekeeping, like, does that stop him? I caught a little bit. Ooh.
You the reason why mama and them leaving. No, you ain't shit. You say you love them. I know you don't mean it. I know you irresponsible, selfish. You deny you can't help it. Your trials and tribulations are burden. Everyone felt it. Everyone heard it. Multiple shots, corners crying out. You was deserted. Where was your antennas again? Where was your presence? Where was your support that you pretend? You ain't no brother. You ain't no disciple. You ain't no friend. A friend never leave Compton for profit. Or leave his best friend, little brother. You promised you watch them before they shot him. Where was your antennas? On the road, bottles and benches. You FaceTime the one time. That's unforgiving. You even FaceTime instead of a hospital visit. Guess you thought he'd recover well. Third surgery, they couldn't stop the bleeding for real. Then he died, God himself, and say you fucking failed. You ain't tried.
Oh. Oh, and this crying in the background. Stop.
I know your secrets, nigga. Mood swings is frequent, nigga. I know depression is resting on your heart for 2 reasons, nigga. I know you and a couple black boys ain't been speaking, nigga. Y'all damn near beefing, I see it, and you're the reason, nigga. And if this bottle could talk, I cry myself to sleep, bitch. Everything is your fault. Falls breaking to pieces. Earthquakes on every weekend. Because you shook as soon as you knew confinement was needed. I know your secrets. Don't let me tell them to the world about that shit you thinking. And that time that about the Earl. I'm fucked up, but I ain't as fucked up as you. You just can't get right. I think your heart made a bulletproof. Should've killed your ass long time ago. You should've filled that black revolver blast long time ago. And if this marriage could talk, it'll say you gotta go. And if I told your secrets, the world of no money can't stop a suicidal weakness.
Oh. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'll cut some of this so you don't have to sit here with me. I don't know, maybe y'all need to sit here with me. That is, oh God. That is one of the best representations and like most authentic representations. You know, a lot of times people think it's just sadness, you know, and a lot of times it's numbness, you know, it's like there's just nothing. And then sometimes it's just anger and that frustration, this like guilt, the shame. There's not one way to present depression. Yeah, there's these general criteria, but it doesn't present that way with everyone. And I've heard quite a few songs dealing with like the numbness, and I've heard quite a few songs dealing with the low, but I personally haven't come into as many songs representing this side of it. It's a hard song to listen to, but it's also like, I hate to use the word appreciate because I wish he would never felt that pain. I wish he would never have been in that position. But I so appreciate the fact that he's willing to share that. A lot of people don't understand that when it comes to music, some people hearing sad songs and stuff like that does worsen things for them. But for some people, I'm one of them. Hearing other people talk about feelings helps me feel more normalized in that feeling. I'm passionate about a lot of things, but I've always been very, very passionate about suicide awareness, especially in youth, but just for anybody. That is just, oh. I know that depression, I know those lows, like I've felt those. This is probably TMI, but that was never going to be an option for me, and it never will be, just because I have a very complicated relationship with death. That's neither here nor there. But like, I've been so low, like I get it. And I've watched people go through it, and it's just, so I don't know. I just really appreciate that song. I hate that he felt that way. I hate that for him so much. The way his artistry came out in this one of like showing that complicated feeling, showing like where logic doesn't play anymore, showing where shame and this like guilt, even if it is misplaced, like that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're in these states, and it feels like that feeling of like worthlessness and like that no one cares, that you're making things worse, that you're a problem, that you're a complication, and like loving you is complicated. It just perfectly summarizes it. I mean, and it just really does convey things in a way that I have never seen before. I think one of the most poignant lines for me really is that last one, in like, the world will know that money can't stop suicidal weakness. And first of all, I appreciate his authenticity and not trying to hide the way he was feeling or make it more palatable, because I think that's important, because the more that we try to make things more palatable for people, that's not necessarily the most authentic way, right? So I appreciate that he, even though it's hard to see that as a person, not because I feel that he's weak, but because the fact that he's willing to tell people that's how it felt is important. Depression doesn't choose based on how much money is in your bank account. It doesn't base it on your race. It doesn't base it on the trauma that you've had. That's not how it works. And a lot of times you feel guilty for people who maybe haven't experienced some of the traumas that are more horrific and things like that. That guilt of feeling like, I have a happy life, like I have a roof over my head, like I shouldn't be depressed. Like that's not how it works. Like that's not how it works. And so I really appreciate him with that last line, the world will know that money can't stop that, is important, because one of the worst things that people can do to someone who's experiencing this or who is depressed is to be like, well, your life can't be that bad. That's not the point. Wow, that is an incredible song. But God, don't you just want to like hug him and be like, this is not, it's not a fair representation of you. I appreciate him being so authentic and raw and real, because while we can sit here and know that and feel like, no, that's how it felt in his mind. Feelings are valid no matter what, because they're your feelings, right? Like, their feelings are not necessarily based on, is it right or is it wrong, or does it make sense in a logical sense? Your feelings are your feelings. I just think it was so well done in the sense of not hiding, not holding back, showing the complexity. Oh, gosh. It's one of those things too, you look back and you're like, I'm so glad that didn't end up going through. Like, look how much more you had to do. And it's not just for him who is at that level and that celebrity. You know, that figure of how much of a crazy possibility it was for you to be here during this time, in this moment. That's so special. And that's not me like guilting, that's not me judging by any means. It's heartbreaking. We are moving slowly on like mental health awareness, because you know, pulling that out of the shadows and making that not be something that you have to hide only helps. But it still is happening way too much, and especially with kids. Okay, we need to move on to the next song, but wow. Oh, this man. So we're going to All Right.
All's my life I has to fight, nigga. All's my life hard times like, yeah. Bad trips like, yeah. Nazareth, I'm fucked up, homie, you fucked up. But if God got us, then we gon' be alright.
Nigga, we gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright.
Maybe social media, but I have definitely heard that part of the, like, I don't think I know this though, but I feel like I know that we gon' be alright. That just sounds familiar.
We gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Huh? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright.
And when I wake up, I recognize you looking at me for the pay cut. Bahamas, I be looking at you from the face down. 1 Mac 11, even boom with the bass down. Skimming, and let me tell you about my life. Painkillers only put me in the twilight. But pretty pussy and Benjamin is the highlight. I tell my mama I love her, but this what I like. Lord knows, 20 of them in my Chevy. Tell them all to come and get me, reaping everything I sow. So my karma come in heaven, no preliminary hearings on my record. I'm a motherfucking gangster in silence for the record. Tell the world I know it's too late. Boys and girls, I think I've gone crazy. Trying to decide my faces all day. Won't you please believe when I say, when you know we've been hurt, been down before. Nigga, when our pride was low, looking at the world like, where do we go? Nigga, and we hate poor, when they kill us dead in the street for sure. Nigga, I'm at the preacher's door. My knees getting weak and my gun might blow, but we gon' be alright.
Nigga, we gon' be alright.
Wow, what, like, for you, and then it's switching to this? So are we, like, on the uphill? Or are we gonna go through some more ups and downs? If I had to guess, I'm probably gonna go with that, knowing Kendrick. But the layer of what was going on at the time is, you know, violence, brutality. Wow. Reaping everything I sow, so my karma coming heavy, no preliminary hearings on my record. Bar. But if God got us, then we're gonna be alright. We've been hurt, we've been down before. When our pride was low, and the world looking like, where do we go?
Nigga, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Huh? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright.
What you want? You a house, you a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar.
Oh, I love that we're going back to the beginning.
Anything, see my name is Lucy, I'm your dog. Motherfucker, you can live at the mall. I can see the evil, I can tell it, I know it's illegal. I don't think about it, I deposit every other zero. Thinking of my partner, put the candy painting on a Rico. Digging in my pocket, in a profit big enough to feed you every day. My logic, get another dollar just to keep you in the presence of your Chico. I don't talk about it, be about it, every day a sequel. If I got it, then you know you can.
Yeah, this has like a playback to the beginning, right? And then it's got the 40 acres and mule. Lucy. So is Lucy like temptation? Or is that like the personification? Well, wait. If Uncle Sam is the personification of the establishment, it would make sense if Lucy was the personification of like temptation. Or is Lucy like Lucifer? I feel like that would make sense. You can live at the mall. Yeah, like it's giving temptation.
I can reach you. Pet dog, my dog, that's all. Pick back and chat, I trap the back for y'all. I rap, I black on tracks, so rest assured. My rights, my wrongs, I right till I'm right with God. When you know, we been hurt, been down before. Nigga, when our pride was low, looking at the world like, where do we go? Nigga, and we hate poor, wanna kill us dead in the street for sure. Nigga, I'm at the preacher's door. My knees getting weak and my gun might blow, but we gon' be alright.
Nigga, we gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Huh? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright.
I keep my head up high, I cross my heart and hope to die. Loving me is complicated, too afraid of life changes. I'm alright in your favor, dark nights in my prayers.
I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same, abusing my power full of resentment that turned into a deep depression. Found myself screaming in the hotel room. I didn't want to self-destruct. The evils of Lucy was all around me. So I went running for answers.
So we're building that end like poem. I love the callbacks from the beginning intro track. It really kind of was like an introduction, and you're picking up the 40 acres and a mule. I think that was in the first one, right? I just love how interwoven it is. The loving me is complicated. I'm all right because it's all right. And then we've got that poem at the end that seems to be evolving as we go, because now we've got a couple more lines. Also now the evils of Lucy's all around me, so I'm running for answers, kind of confirm that we are talking about like sin, temptation, and like a personification of Lucifer, if you will. Yeah, I mean, that one's interesting too, because like parts of it you're like, you know, because it's obviously touching on police brutality, the violence. It's got that woven in there. He is just such a storyteller in any way, shape, or form. It's really interesting to see how he decides to approach the story he wants to tell in each album. It is telling the story, but you've got these two more distinctive levels of like the system, and then him dealing with what was going on in his life and his own mental health, and dealing with the pressures and the trauma that's still following him. And I'm sure there's survivor's guilt in there too. I mean, when you lose people like that, I mean, that gives you the survivor's guilt. We heard that quite a bit in You. He's got this stuff going on, but he's also doing so well. And so he's also got all this temptation. I talked about this earlier, but I'm sure that's an additional layer of hard for him because it's so easy to want to fall into those temptations, especially when you are struggling so hard. But then your like guilt creeps up, and then he's feeling like pulled between the roots. And, you know, again, it's that balance I talked about earlier of when is the right time to evolve without losing yourself and your roots, not letting your roots and where you come from keep you from evolving. When you add on that layer of mental health, I'm sure it's really hard to not want to just sink into it. But then this whole time you still have the undertone of as soon as you start getting successful and you have some money and stuff like that, people assume that you're now happy, but you're also being ridiculed more. I think it's a lot more gray than people might assume. He's also understanding more and more of how exploitive the industry can be and how tempting and yeah, I mean, it's so woven through each song, but still feels very distinct. Like, here's what he's going through, but then he's seeing the parallel of how the system, it's almost like when he was younger, he was seeing like the downstream effects of what the system is. And it's almost like now he's starting to get some visibility into not the other side necessarily, but it's almost like it's zoomed out a little bit because he's being able to see more like different sides, seeing the industry, he's traveling more, and I'm sure people are treating him differently, see a little bit more of the system in play, not just the downstream effects. I liked that. I think it's definitely gonna be stuck in my head if I'm being honest. Next up, we have For Sale ? Interlude. It sounds like a church choir, which is interesting because yeah, so I went running for answers, and the next one, it kind of starts out sounding a little bit like a church choir, so I'm assuming he's like running towards religion. You gotta remember, you were dying of thirst. Cool. Is he running? Right? Or is that... I can't believe how to say this, but I just, as soon as he said, I thought that's what you wanted, it just reminded me of, this line has been said before, like, I thought this is what you wanted, but the most recent example, I think, came to my head, and so as soon as it was, I thought this is what you wanted, it was, I got what I wanted, it's just not what I imagined, which is Olivia Rodrigo. Listen, she is so good. I stand by that. Ooh, cool production.
Now baby, when I get you, I'ma go hit the fire with you, smoking, looking, poking the danger till I'm out with you, cause I want you. Now baby, when I'm riding, yeah, I'm riding dirty. Registration inside of service, smoking, looking, drinking that potion, you can see me swerving, cause I want you. I want you more than you know. I remember you took me to a mall last week, baby. You looked me in my eyes about 4 or 5 times till I was hypnotized, then you clarified that I want you. You said Shireen ain't got nothing on Lucy. I said, you crazy? Rose are red, violets are blue.
I can't believe I just said that. Shireen ain't got nothing on Lucy. I love a good callback. I was confused by this line, but I think I get it now. But remember, he knows the Bible too. So if Lucy is like feminine personification of temptation, which inherently would be like sin, which inherently would be Lucifer, he would be Lucifer who fell. Right? Because he knows the Bible too, because he's a fallen angel, right? I think I'm with you.
Shireen ain't got nothing on Lucy. I said, you crazy?
He's like, what?
Red bottles of blue, but me and you both pushing up daisies if Now, baby, when I get you, I'ma go hit the throttle with you. Smoking, looking, booking that danger till I'm out with you. Cause I want you. You shared to me. You said your name was Lucy. I said, where's Ricardo? You said, oh no, not the show. Then you spit a little rap to me like this when I turned 26. I was like, oh shit. You said to me, I remember what you said too. You said, my name is Lucy Kendrick. You introduced me, Kendrick. Usually I don't do this, but I see you and me, Kendrick. Lucy give you no worries. Lucy got million stories about these rappers that I came after when they was boring. Lucy go fill your pockets. Lucy go move your mama out of Compton inside the gigantic mansion like I promised. Lucy just wants your trust and loyalty. Avoiding me, it's not so easy. I'm at these functions accordingly. Kendrick, Lucy don't slack a minute. Lucy work harder. Lucy gon' call you even when Lucy know you love your father. I'm Lucy. I loosely heard prayers on your first album, truly. Lucy don't mind, cause at the end of the day you'll pursue me. Lucy go get it. Lucy not timid.
This is such an interesting concept. What a way to approach the idea of explaining how it feels to be like tempted. The way his brain just like comes up with the wow.
Up front, Lucy got paperwork on top of paperwork. I want you to know that Lucy got you all your life. I watched you, and now you all grown up to sign this contract if that's possible. Get you. I'ma go hit the throttle.
Now that you all grown up, you can sign this contract. It's like the play on you're signing away, you know, like your deal with the devil, but it's also like the contract that he signed as he decided to actually go into the industry. Like the layers.
Looking, broken, the danger till I'm out with you, cause I want you. Now, baby, when I'm riding, yeah, I'm riding dirty. Registration inside of service. Smoking, looking, drinking, emotion. You can see me swerving, cause I want you.
Interesting production too. The voice that he's using to like voice Lucy, it's got that higher pitch, like he's trying to, you know, but it's also kind of like there's those points where it's almost like the whispering in your ear, you know, like the devil on your shoulder kind of feeling. Interesting. I've said this about Taylor's stuff before too. This is just like, this is art. This is spoken art is what it is. I wish I knew how to verbalize the differences between, I can verbalize a little bit of the difference between the albums, but like truly explaining in a way that could convey how different they are while also still being so Kendrick. I wish I knew how to verbalize it well, but I don't. It's not to say that the other ones didn't make me feel things. Y'all obviously saw I was feeling a lot of things. Good Kid, Mad City was truly like a film. Like everything about it made you feel like you were present. You felt like you were there, but you also felt kind of like a narrator in a way, but like a narrator who was just basically commentating, but didn't know how the story would unfold. So much of this feels like you're feeling the feelings. Like this is such a personification of the idea. I don't know. I don't know if this is making any sense. Like I said, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's different, and in the way I keep thinking maybe if I talk it out, maybe I'll like stumble across the way that I want to be able to take my thoughts into coherent words. It's not working. So I'm just gonna keep going.
remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same, abusing my power full of resentment.
That little bing, bing.
Resentment that turned into a deep depression. Found myself screaming in the hotel room. I didn't want to self-destruct. The evils of Lucy was all around me. So I went running.
I have heard, what does that remind me of? There's something that reminds me of.
I didn't want to self-destruct. The evils of Lucy was all around me. So I went running for answers. Until I came home.
I don't know what that sound reminded me of something. I don't know what it is. There's no telling. There's no telling. Okay, so now we got another line. So we went running until I went home, or something along those lines. I want to hear that transition again.
So I went running for answers.
It kind of sounds like a key in the door, but the pitch is reminding me of something else.
Until I came home.
Oh shit! I need that. I need that sloppy. That sloppy. Like a Chevy in quicksand. Yeah. That sloppy.
This feeling is unmatched. This feeling is brought to you by adrenaline and good rap. Black Pendleton, ball cap.
West, west, west.
We don't share the same synonym, far back.
West, west, west.
Been in it before internet had new acts. Mimicking radio's nemesis made me whack. My innocence limited, the experience lacked. 10 of us with no tentative tactic that cracked. The mind of a literate writer, but I did it in fact. You admitted it once I submitted it, wrapped in plastic. Remember scribbling.
So is that talking about like his like come up essentially? You admitted it once I submitted it wrapped in plastic. Like once he had like an album that did well, he started being recognized. I think that's what that's saying.
Diligent sentences backwards, visiting freestyle ciphers for your reaction. Now I can live in this stadium, pack it the fastest. Gambling Benjamin benefit, sending in traffic, spinning women in cartwheels, linen fabric on fashion, winning in every decision. Kendrick is master that mastered it, isn't it? Lovely how menaces turn attraction, pivoting rappers finishing fraction while writing blue magic.
Ooh.
Thank God for rap. I would say it got me a plaque, but what's better than that? The fact it brought me back home.
We've been waiting for you, waiting for you, waiting for you, waiting for you.
I know everything, I know everything. Know myself, I know morality, spirituality, good and bad health. I know fatality, my hauncher. I know everything, I know Compton, I know street shit, I know shit that's conscious. I know everything, I know lawyers, advertisement and sponsors. I know wisdom, I know bad religion, I know good karma. I know everything, I know history. I know the universe works mentally. I know the perks of bullshit, is it meant for me? I know everything. I know cars, clothes, hoes, and money. I know loyalty, I know respect. I know those that's unreal. I know everything, the highs, the lows, the groupies, the junkies. I know if I'm generous at heart, I don't need recognition. The way I'm rewarded, well, that's God's decision. I know you know that line's for Compton School District. Just give it to the kids, don't gossip about how it's distributed. I know how people work. I know the price of life, I'm knowing how much it's worth. I know what I know, and I know it well not to ever forget. Until I realized I didn't know shit the day I came home.
Ooh.
We've been waiting for you, waiting for you, waiting for you, waiting for.
I love that. You're recognizing that you have learned so much, but then you get that like knockdown where you're like, whoo, you got like a big life lesson or something, and you're like, oh wow. I can recognize I learned a lot, but I still know nothing. And that is very relatable. Like coming home. He's talking about Compton up above, but not in reference to home. Is home church? Is home God? Like is home, is he talking about Compton? Mama. Home. Why is it called Mama? My brain is trying to piece things. I feel like I'm like one step away from figuring it out. Like the pattern recognition is recognizing, but it's not. I'm like one step away. It doesn't sound like he's talking about his mom. Like, he's talked about his mom before, and I don't feel like he said mama. But if he's not talking about church, mama, we'll keep going.
That resembled my features. Nappy afro, gap in the smile. Hand-me-down sneakers bounce through the crowd.
Motherland? It's the way he's saying Compton. I know Compton. Why would you say I know Compton if you're referring to home as Compton? So that makes me feel like that's out. That's why I like. But motherland, mama, why not say mother if you're going to talk about motherland? Maybe I'm off.
Running number home men and women that crossed him. Sunbeaming on his BDBs, exhausted. Tossing footballs with his ashy black ankles. Breaking new laws, mama passed on home training. He looked at me and said, Kendrick, you do know my language. You just forgot because of what public schools had painted. Oh, I forgot, don't kill my vibe, that's right, you're famous. I used to watch on Channel 5, TV was taken. But never mind, you're here right now, don't you mistake it, it's just a new trip. Take a glimpse of your family ancestor, make a new list of everything you thought was progress, and that was bullshit. I know your life is full of turmoil, you're spoiled by fantasies of who you are. I feel bad for you, I can attempt to enlighten you.
It's just a new trip, take a glimpse of your family ancestor. You speak my language. Am I right? This may be like one of the first times that I'm like really actually wanting to look this up. I've done that twice now in this video. Once I did look that one thing up. Normally I'm pretty good about being like, no, but I also have to be really careful when I'm looking things up because I don't want to spoil, because so many times things are like, discusses this further and it's like a future thing and I don't want to spoil things for myself, so I have to be really careful when I go. Like, that's my thing with Genius, is like, after this, when I go and want to like deep dip into the lyrics, as soon as it's like, says anything like that, I'm like, get off. Because I genuinely don't want to spoil things. I think that's what it's talking about though.
Frightening you if you resist. I back up, never mind, you're here right now, don't you mistake it, it's just a new trip. Take a glimpse of your family ancestor, make a new list of everything you thought was progress, and that was bullshit. I know your life is full of turmoil, you're spoiled by fantasies of who you are. I feel bad for you, I can attempt to enlighten you without frightening you if you resist. I back off quick, go catch a flight or two, but if you pick destiny over rest in peace, then be an advocate. Tell your homies especially to come back home.
This is a world premiere.
That's how the opening track opened, right? This is a world premiere.
This is a world premiere. This is a world premiere.
I've been looking for you my whole life, and every time for the feeling I can barely describe. Why you reside? Is it in a woman? Is it in money or man? Tell me something, got me losing my mind. You make me wanna jump.
Let's talk about jump. Let's talk about jump. Let's talk about jump.
What is that song? That's sampled, right?
I've been looking for you my whole life, and every time for the feeling I can barely describe. Where you reside? Is it in a woman? Is it in money or man? Tell me something, think I'm losing my mind. I say where you at, from the front to the back. I'm looking for you, I react only when you react. I thought I found you back in the ghetto when I was 17 with the 30th special. Maybe you in a dollar bill, maybe you're not real, maybe only the wealthy get to know how you feel. Maybe you're paranoid, maybe I don't need you anyway. Don't lie to me, I'm suicidal anything.
Ooh. Wait, hold on. Was that like Lucy coming in at the end? Is that like the two sides fighting? Like the side of him that was like, I'm dying of thirst, I need to go on this path, where it's like, I thought I found you, 17, but then it talks about the gun. And then it's almost like Lucy coming in and be like, huh? I thought I was doing pretty good there for a little bit, but now I'm like, oh. I feel like I'm taking that wrong. Okay, let's keep going. I might come back to that, like, once I get a little bit more in the next track. It seems like, because so many things are layered on here, like we come back around and it pops up again. That end is bothering me though. I don't know what it, like, I'm trying to focus. You can do this after. You can't answer that yourself. Okay, so we're in hood politics. I love this.
Every time my car is going to voicemail. Don't tell me they got you on some weirdo rap shit, nigga. No socks and skinny jeans and shit. fault.
Ooh.
I've been A1 since day one, you niggas boo-boo. Your homeboy, your block that you're from, boo-boo. Little hoes you went to school with, boo-boo. Baby mama and your new bitch, boo-boo. We was in the hood, 14 with the deuce. 14 years later, going hard like we used to on the dead homies. On the dead homies. I don't give a fuck about no politics and rap, my nigga. My little homie stunner deuce ain't never coming back, my nigga. So you better go hard every time you jump on wax, my nigga. Fuck what they talk about, your shit is where it's at, my nigga. Came in this game, you stuck your fangs in this game. You want no chain in this game, yo.
I love when he picks up these threads in other songs. Like, he's talked about that before, about the, you know, going for the jugular, and then the, like Dracula sinking my fangs into this rap game, something along those lines. I just like when these little threads come back around.
In this game, you stuck your fangs in this game. You want no chain in this game. Your hood, your name in this game. Now you double up. Time to bubble up the bread and huddle up. Stick it to the scripts. Now if them Benjamins go cuddle up. Skip, hop, drip, drop, flip, flop with the white tube sock. It go. That's what the product smell like when the chemicals mix. 50 niggas salute out the Compton Zoo with the extras. Elcos, Monte Carlos, Road Kings and dressers. Rip Riders, P-Funkers, Mexicans, they fuck with you. Asians, they fuck with you. Nobody can fuck with you. I've been A1 since day one, you niggas boo-boo. Your homeboy, your block that you're from, boo-boo. Little hoes you went to school with, boo-boo. Baby mama and your new bitch, boo-boo. We was in the hood, 14 with the deuce. 14 years later, going hard like we used to on the dead homies. On the dead homies. Hopped out the caddy, just got my dick sucked. The little homies called and said the enemies that clicked up. Oh yeah, Puto wanna squabble with me, Vadio. Oh yeah, tell them they can run it for the cardio. Oh yeah, everything is scandalous. Slow motion for the ambulance. The project filled with cameras. The LAPD gambling, scrambling. Football numbers slandering. Niggas' names on paper, you snitched all summer. Streets don't fail me now. They tell me it's a new gang in town. From Compton to Congress. Set tripping all around. Ain't nothing new but a fluid new deal. My Crips and rep against red state versus a blue state. Which one you got?
From Compton to Congress, set tripping all around, ain't nothing new but a flew of new demo Crips, re-blood lookins. It's still a fight of red and blue. Wow. My mind just kind of like got a little blown there. I'm processing. This is definitely going to be one of those moments where I've got the little thing when I'm editing and I add my little process. This is one of those moments. I feel like that in real time.
From Compton to Congress, set tripping all around. Ain't nothing new but a fluid new deal. My Crips and rep against red state versus a blue state. Which one you governing? They give us guns and drugs, call us thugs, making they promise to fuck with you. No condom, they fuck with you. Obama say what it do.
Obama say what it do. Obama say what it do.
I've been A1 since day one, you niggas boo-boo. Your homeboy, your block that you're from, boo-boo. Little hoes you went to school with, boo-boo. Baby mama and your new bitch, boo-boo. We was in the hood, 14 with the deuce. 14 years later, going hard like we used to on the dead homies. On the dead homies. Everybody wanna talk about who this and who that, who the realest and who whack, or who white and who black. Critics wanna mention that they missed when hip-hop was rapping. Motherfucker, if you did, the Killer Mike could be platinum. Y'all priorities fucked up, put energy in wrong shit. Hennessy and Crown Vic, my memory been gone since. Don't ask about no camera blocking at award shows. No, don't ask about my bitch, no, don't ask about my foes. Unless you asking me about power, y'all got a lot of it. I'm the only nigga next to Snoop that can push the button. Had the coast on standby. Kid out, what up? I heard they opened up Pandora's box. I boxed in my land by a landslide. Nah, homie, we too sensitive. It spill out to the streets. I make the call and get the coast involved. The history repeat. But I resolved inside that private heart while sitting down with Jay. He said it's funny how one verse can fuck up the game. I've been A1 since day one. You niggas boo-boo. I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence.
Hold up. Before we go into that, I feel like I feel like there are some things in here that may this may have been one of those times that some of it went a little above for me. I mean, okay. One, it sounds like he's like reflecting on his childhood a little bit, like growing up in Compton. We're kind of going back to some of that, but it also sounds like he's talking a little bit about the environment may be different, but I am still me from then, and I carry that with me, while also saying that even though his environment maybe has changed, so much stuff is the same in the sense of the politics of it all, the industry, America in general, fame. I mean, I know that sounds like the industry, but like, I mean the industry more as like actually like record labels. And when I'm saying like fame, that includes like your fans, just like a little bit different perspective. And so to me, that's kind of what I'm getting out of this, is things have changed, but also maybe not as much as you thought it would. Here towards the end, there were some things that they give us guns and drugs and call us thugs is a line. Don't ask me about no camera blocking at award shows. Is there some lore there? Is there some like background there? Because I feel like I have missing context with that one. Kid, what's up? I heard they open up Pandora's box. I box them all in by a landslide. Not having we too sensitive, it spill out into the streets. I make the call and get the coast involved, then history repeats. There's something there, but my brain is not fully forming the thought. Private hall while sitting down with Jay. I swear I'm missing context here. He said it's funny how one verse could... Is that talking about the control verse? That's what I'm getting out of that, but y'all tell me if I'm wrong.
Since day one, you niggas boo-boo. I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same, abusing my power full of resentment that turned into a deep depression. Found myself screaming in the hotel room. I didn't want to self-destruct. The evils of Lucy was all around me. So I went running for answers until I came home.
Okay.
But that didn't stop survivor's guilt.
I would just like to say that I called that. Just wanted to move
Back
on.
and forth trying to convince myself the stripes are.
We got quite a few more lines in this one too. Sorry.
I came home. But that didn't stop survivor's guilt. Going back and forth trying to convince myself the stripes I earned. Or maybe how A1 my foundation was.
Ooh.
But while my loved ones was fighting a continuous war back in the city, I was entering a new one.
Ooh. As always, I leave you with, let me know your thoughts. What did I miss? What did I get right? What's your perspective? And until the next time, bye.